Guys, I thought that while I was still mentally and physically scarred from my last tattoo session that I would take some time out to actually do a bit of a like tattoo Q&A kind of thing. It's more of my tips and advice for anyone who's wanting to know, anyone who's wanting to get their first tattoo, or anyone who's just wanting a little bit of help or some advice with sitting for long sessions. But first off, disclaimer, I just want to say it's obvious, but sometimes you need to say these things. Everyone is different, everyone's pain tolerance is different, and everyone's opinions are different. This is just purely advice and tips that I find I generally recommend. So yeah, I thought I'd just kind of start out with a little bit of like a tattoo intro, I guess. So I got my first tattoo when I was 17. It was just before I turned 18, and I never really planned to get as covered as I am now. I kind of knew I wanted another one, and then roll over to another one, and it's kind of led me here where I am now. My number one tip is to research. Just fucking research. I'm talking from my perspective. I get tattooed, I love tattoos, I wouldn't change anything about it, and I understand that there is going to be some people that are going to be able to walk down the street, go to a street shop and get a great tattoo because they want something small, they saw that work in person, and that's completely fine. But for me, it's usually large scale, and I want these pieces to reflect the artist, and I want to be able to wear them and know that it's good quality. I don't have anything to worry about. I just have to worry about the pain. So do research. Don't be confined by your location. If you can travel a suburb or two, you would be amazed. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, just fucking eat it up. My second one is to make sure that you budget. This links with the whole like cheap tattoo isn't good and good tattoos aren't cheap. They're fucking expensive, and they should be, because it's a luxury. It's not something that you should be going broke for. It's not something that you should be stinging out because you can't afford your rent. Save up, know your budget, and spend your money. It's just one of those things that you can't stinge out on. I mean, it's on you forever. And if you want to remove it because there's that choice, it fucking hurts. So it's like, just weigh it up, you know? It's easy to forget about an appointment and potentially have to cancel, and that's completely okay. Things happen, financial situations, but it's so much easier when you set a budget. If you do need to cancel financial reasons, or you can't make it, or you're sick, or whatever, just tell the tattooer with as much time as possible. Tattooers are people, they have bills just like you, and they're not going to get paid to wait around and wait for you. So when it's leading up to the appointment, my tip number 2 is to try to sleep. So obviously getting tattooed is really stressful on your mind and physically stressful. Getting as much sleep as you can will make a huge difference. It's very important for you to try to rest your body beforehand. You have more of a chance of being calm and collected throughout your session. Your body's gonna have a lot of strain the next day, and if you're going in all niggly and pissed off and grumpy and tired, it's just really unpleasant, and you're probably not gonna be able to sit very well because, you know, you're meeting someone, you're in their space, you want to at least be like, you know, pleasant to be around, I guess. And also leave the drinking and hangover for like a week later or something, because alcohol thins your blood. There's still a chance of, you know, bleeding more because of it. You're gonna feel sick. You know, if you're like me, you're gonna want to shit yourself when you're hungover, and it's just not good. Don't drink, don't do drugs beforehand. It's just pretty simple. Number 3 is to be comfy. I don't wear makeup. Sometimes I don't even wear a bra. I mean, most times actually. Trackies, hoodie, and a shitty shirt, because they're gonna get fucking ruined in my tattooing journey. Everything gets ruined. But what the fuck? Also, don't wear clothes that you love. Stick with like really cheap ones, because I bleed a lot. Don't wear like your best hoodie, okay? This ain't a fashion parade. You know when like your mum pack your bags to go to camp when you're in primary school? And I was like, don't wear this, it's not a fashion parade. And you were like, fuck off, mum. That's what it's like, okay? Just makes a difference, be comfortable. Just fuck it, just don't wear a bra, whatever. Eat breakfast and bring snacks. So you lose energy when you're tattooed, obviously. And if you're like me, you need to eat all the time. You sweat a lot, you lose a lot of electrolytes, and you're kind of putting all your energy into not dying. I spend a lot of my times going to appointments really, really nervous. I do anxiety poos, so like eating breakfast for me isn't the best option, but I always bring fruit. I bring grapes, apples, strawberries, and maybe some nuts like almonds. You also want to go with carbs, so nothing too filling, but something that's going to fill you up, so like a muesli bar, something easy and quick. I also buy Gatorade because I don't particularly want to be drinking soft drink at like 11 AM, and I also bring the biggest bottle of water that I can find, and I try to sip and nibble throughout the day. This obviously changes on how long your tattooing is going to be. I'm usually at Emily's from like 10 till between like 2 and like 5. It really depends on what we're doing and how long we do it for. You also don't know whether the shop slash studio that you're going to is going to be near places that you can get food, so it's just always good to just have your own food. Unless you know the area, you might be stuck in the middle of nowhere and then you've got fuck all. You're fucking chewing your arm off. Number 5, I would suggest to try to relax. I know that sounds really easy, and I know it sounds easier than it is, but tensing only hurts your body more. After I sit for hours, like I feel like I've done 4 million sit-ups because I'm tensing so much. It's not particularly ideal, especially if you're jerking and moving due to the pain. It's uncomfortable, and it also can affect the outcome of the tattoo. I've moved a few times for Emily on my back, fucking for everything that she's ever tattooed on me, because she's quite heavy-handed. Lucky she holds me down, because I would have completely fucked up all my tattoos just from moving so much. You will probably be pushed and pulled into weird directions. Like when I just got my armpits tattooed, I was like really vulnerable and like pushed up, and you feel vulnerable because you're laying outwards. Naturally the body wants to curl over and crunch into a fetal position when we're in pain or whatever. So when a tattoo was like holding you down, it can be really hard to think of anything else but the pain. Emily always puts on like a movie or a TV show in the background. I can at least kind of focus on that. So I'd recommend to just bring headphones just in case, bring a book, bring your laptop, just anything to kind of keep your mind away from it. So when a tattoo was like holding you down into that. Anyway, I do use breathing to help me through really painful spots. I mean, tattooing is one of those things that if it really hurts you, you do anything you fucking can to get your mind off it. So like if that means fake laughing, then do that. If it means grunting and like swearing, then if you can, do that. Whatever. But for me, Emily threw out my back. I was really struggling. She told me to breathe in when she pulled away, and as she put the machine back into my skin, she told me to breathe out and imagine that I was blowing out the pain, and that amazingly worked really well. Just having like a rhythmic kind of meditating yoga-y kind of breathing pattern really helps, because you're trying to calm yourself down. If you hyperventilate and get nervous and everything like that, you're going to be tensing, and everything kind of just flows into one, if you get what I'm saying. My number 6 tip is to just be honest. You're allowed to be nervous, and you're allowed to be really scared, apprehensive, unsure, and you know, you can explain this to a tattooer. They're there to help you. So be honest with them. If you're not feeling well, if you're feeling sick, if you need a break, if you need to go to the bathroom, tell them. You can ask them about the process of, you know, what's going to happen, and I'm sure they'd be happy to run you through the process, which might make you feel a little bit more comfortable because you'll know what's going on. I've come close to fainting a few times, but Emily would like grab my legs and hold them up and like do all this weird shit with my limbs, and it would work. I mean, most sessions I feel like fucking shit after I get tattooed by Emily, and she knows that, and I think she definitely knows my capabilities by now. I've been getting tattooed by her for 3 years, so she's seen me at my fucking worst, and I don't have to, I mean, I'm pretty honest, but I know that she knows when I'm ready, that I've had enough. But you know, some tattooers you're only going to see once because they're going to be like smaller pieces, so you're going to have to be honest with them. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty straightforward tip, but I think people just get nervous and embarrassed. Tapping is okay. It's gonna cost you more in the long run, but if you can't handle it, you know, it's better you being honest and saying, I don't know whether I can deal with this, so maybe the tattooer can help you through it, or you know, you can reschedule an appointment. So my number 7 tip is to have trust, and it's something I didn't have when I first got tattooed by Jake. Sorry. But I think trust is really important, kind of anything, but especially tattooing. Like, you need to fucking know that the tattooer that you've chosen is good. You need to be able to trust that this is their area of expertise. If it wasn't, you wouldn't be going to them. They're gonna know, you know, the best placement and the best size and also the best design. If you're adamant about things, that's fine, but just know that if the tattooer turns it down, it's for a good reason. It's because they give a shit about what they do. Most tattooers are like, what color do you want this? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, what color did you envision when you drew it? Oh, I envisioned this. Okay, cool, go for it. Like, that's how I know I'm gonna get the best work. That's how I know they're gonna enjoy what they're doing. Whatever. It doesn't seem like a tip, but it's more of like a, hey, like advice, you know, like don't go to someone who you can't trust. Just be honest, upfront, but trust them. Like, they want you to get the best possible thing that they can give you. I guess number 8 is the aftercare. So there's dry healing and wet healing, and these are the 2 ways that I think they're the only fucking 2 ways you can do it. But I mostly wet heal, and I kind of alternate the aftercare routine just depending on what tattoo it is. It's pretty common knowledge. You get your tattoo, and then once you get it, they wrap it in cling wrap with usually a layer of bepanthen or Vaseline or whatever they're using throughout the tattoo. So cling wrap just emulates a skin layer, which keeps it nice and moist and stops it from scabbing, also stopping any bacteria, dirt, shit getting into the wound, because, you know, you've opened up your skin. It is a wound. And then you'll usually go home and wash it. I fucking hope you wash it. But you get home and you take it, cling wrap off, and you have like this thick layer of black plasma shit. Well, that's me. And then you wash it. Generally it's no fragrance soaps, no like exfoliating scrubs, pretty much like nothing. I just use water, and if I have it, like tattoo soap, brands like H2O and ProTat have like foaming soaps that are specially for tattoos, and it's just a gentle foam wash. And then after that, towel dry. I usually let my tattoo sit for like 10 to 15 minutes to kind of air dry, I guess, and I don't put clothes on over the top just yet, because usually straight after I get tattooed the first day I'm still weeping and I'm still gross. I wait for that to dry out a little bit. Usually the first night I'm that battered from Emily that I don't need any cream. I just wrap it and then go straight to sleep. Like the first night, the morning I wake up, I give it a clean, fine, and then I put cling wrap straight back on. Every 2 to 3 hours, or when I have some time, I will go take the cling wrap off, clean it, cream it if necessary, rewrap. I'll continually do this until the 3rd day. When it starts to kind of form that 2nd layer, then I will stop wet healing. I may do it overnight until it fully dries out, because I tend to like stick, and like it's disgusting. When you're heavily shaded, you stick to your skin, like you stick to yourself, and you get fluff and like dust, and like you stick to the sheets, and it's just disgusting. So I use cling wrap until that's completely over. The cream that I use is the ProTat Sensitive Skin Cream. It's more of like a moisturizer, so it soaks in rather than sitting on top. But I don't really use bepanthen whatsoever. I prefer formulas that soak into my skin, and then if I need to, I can put a 2nd layer. So Hustle Butter is also really good, and I've used Dr. Pickles as well, but I do prefer ProTat or Hustle Butter over the other 2. Dry healing is what I do with my line work and anything smaller than my palm. I literally just, it's cling wrapped, I go home, I wash it, that's it. I only cream it when it gets cracked and when it's, you know, it needs to be creamed. I don't like continually piling on cream, because I don't like keeping the scabs wet. This is just how I do it, but obviously it's going to be completely up to you and your personal preference. I've also tried the Derma Skin, or like the skin wrap, so it's like a clear, so it's completely sticky and it's completely translucent and it's completely flexible. And it's really weird, it like weeps and you can like see it, it's like a bubble, and then it just kind of disappears. Once the 3-4 days are over, it kind of peels off on its own once it's ready, and then it's healed. So it's totally dependable on you and your tattooer and all that kind of shit. Aftercare differs from person to person, from artist to artist. I would just go with what they've recommended, because they know what works best for their style. Last but not least, the most asked inquiry was numbing cream. Every time like a new numbing cream or whatever would come out, you'd be like, oh, let's fucking try this one. And I've used most of them and they've all had different effects on me. I personally think that you should feel a tattoo. If you're not tattooed and you just want to go out and use numbing cream, that's fine. But like, I just feel like you should be pretty tattooed and save the numbing for the parts that you just really can't deal with the like problem areas, you know, like throat, stomach, back, all that kind of stuff. The chemist, I sell one called Emla, and it's not good. I wouldn't recommend it. It faded out my upper arm quite a lot. I've used Zensa, which used to be Dr. Numb. It's the same formula. And that one's legal in Australia. That one's pretty good. So it's a cream, put it on. Once the skin's broken, maybe once or twice, it really starts to hurt. So that's not my first recommendation. What I use now is called TKTX. It's just some dodgy as fuck like cream that has really bad English translation on it. It's so far been the only thing for me that really works properly. But you've also got the options of sprays and gels as well. So there's foams and gels from Hush and Hustle Butter, but they only work once the skin's broken. There's a spray called Bactine that most tattooers I've been tattooed by have, and that just takes the sting off, but your skin has to be open. There's also Vaseline, which is the devil in a bottle. I would not recommend that. It's just fucking ruins your tattoo, and most tattooers won't use it anyway. Just be careful. I mean, you don't want to numb too much. You know, the more space that you do, if you actually do some research into the products, they're, you know, they're elite. Most of them are legal here anyway. So I mean, obviously some people have, like, there was one girl who numbed out like both of her legs with cling wrap and fucking died. I don't want to die. Like, it's just dumb. And I will say, disclaimer about the numbing products is that just don't fucking do it if you haven't told your tattooer. Tell them. Most of them don't actually want you to use it. I only use it when I have problem area, when I know the tattooer and they're okay with it, when I know what my body will react like. Even if you have to just do a test patch to check that you're not allergic, just do it. I know that most tattooers won't put a stencil on over the top of, you know, numbed skin, because it does change the skin. It changes the process for the tattooer, and it can really interfere with how they work and how the work heals later on. And I really only left it for my back. Majority of it with numbing cream, but there were my first bits without it, and I mean, I cried, and it was just fucked. And like, it gets to the point where you're literally wasting someone else's time because you can't sit there and shut up and take it. And that's what I was doing, and I didn't want to do that anymore. So I've just found that it's easier, it's more comfortable, and that's just how I do it now. How I do it is I get up 2 hours before my appointment. I have a really hot shower. Once the pores are nice and open and everything's clean, I then do a first layer like moisturizer, so it sinks into the skin, and then the second layer is more thick. I don't use too much. I'm very cautious of how much I put on. And then I cling wrap, and it stays cling wrapped for about an hour and a half, and it's pretty fucking numb. That's just how I do it. I recommend doing it like that, but it's also good to know that sometimes numbing cream just doesn't work. Sometimes it might not have been applied properly. You might have sweat. The body, like the skin, might have been dirty, so it didn't soak in properly, or it might be a dodgy tube. You know, you might not have it as easy as you think. And there's also the fact that when you're completely numb, like numbing cream, like when it works, you can't feel anything. When she moves her needle just a little bit out of where I've put that numbing cream, I almost fucking die. That's the issue. Your adrenaline's not there. You're chilling out, you're relaxing. It's gonna hurt 10 times more when it A, wears off, or B, comes to an area that it's not applied. So just be mindful about that. I used to get my TKTX from an Australian distributor, but because it was illegal, they've had some issues. I think eBay is pretty much the only place you can get it now. But get Zensa. So Zensa's available from Tats Up. Promo. Yeah, I hope this was interesting, I guess. I do want to do a more in-depth like tattoo tour, I guess, of everything I've got and all that kind of stuff, and the progress that I'm making. If you're interested in that, please let me know, because I feel like, because it's me, I'm like boring. I don't know, but I don't know, some people like watching that kind of stuff. So if you do, then let me know. If you like this video, or you just want to be nice, you can subscribe, I guess. But yeah, thank you.